Welcome back everybody, hope you're doing well. In today's video I'm going to try to set up an Iwagumi style aquascape, but then I'm also going to use a lot of plants. So technically it's not really an Iwagumi. You know what, I'm going to set up an aquascape with big rocks. That's it, let's get started. So I recently got myself two brand new OASE StyleLine 125s. I already got started on the first one. That's going to be like a bit of like a biotope style aquascape. This one is going to be like proper heavily planted tank with strong light, CO2 injection, that kind of stuff. So these StyleLine tanks are kind of like the budget range from OASE, and I think they represent good value for money. So it comes with a stand. The stand does have to be assembled, so it's a little bit of work, but it was quite easy to do. And then it comes with the tank. The tank is just made from regular float glass and it's measuring 70 centimeters from left to right. It's 36 centimeters front to back and it's 50 centimeters tall. So it holds roughly 100 to 125 liters, which is I guess 25 to 30 US gallons. So it's pretty good size. And then the set comes with light as well, and it also comes with a filter. I'm not using the filter, but yeah, it does come included in the set. So I think if you have to buy this, it's like roughly 480 euros, something like that. So I think it's a good price. Yeah, let's get started with scaping. So I want to make an Iwagumi style layout with big lava rocks. Got a really good selection. I've actually already used these rocks once before in the big shallow. I'll overlay a clip of that tank. But in that layout you didn't really see much of the lava rocks. So in this layout they're hopefully going to shine a little bit more. Now before I can place these rocks in the tank, I need a bit of a substrate layer just for some support. So the first substrate layer is going to be this stuff. WEO Wetland Ionian Brown. Sounds very fancy, but it's basically just crushed lava rock. I think there's a little bit of nutrients in here as well, but this is just a good base layer. It's very porous, so it's also very good for beneficial bacteria. So I got 2 bags of this stuff, so like 10 kilos in total. So I'm going to add this in first and then we can start playing with the rocks. So that is the first substrate layer in, so we can now get started on the rocks. Like I said, I have a pretty good selection. I basically have 3 really large ones and then a couple medium sized and smaller ones. I have a little bit more outside, so we can always grab more if I need to, but I think I should go for like one really big one and then complement that with a few smaller ones. I mean, the tank itself is still not that big, you know, so it's only 70 centimeters. So I think if we just start with one big rock, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this is big rock number 1. Let's try another one. This is number 2. Also not too bad, but let's try the third one. This is number 3. Also looks quite nice. This one has a little bit more brown tint to it. I quite like this one. Let's see how it looks on the opposite side of the tank. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this one as the main stone because it's quite big, but at the same time it's also quite flat. See, it doesn't really take up that much space. That's good because this aquarium is only 36 centimeters front to back, so we don't really have a lot of depth. So yeah, big flat one, that's actually perfect. So I kind of want this big rock to be slightly tilted towards the left side and also be slightly tilted forward. So I just placed one in front of it, just kind of hold it in place. Just temporarily until I can find a better suited rock. But let's first move on to the left side. So I got a slightly smaller rock and that is kind of just to balance out the left side. I quite like how this looks already, but I think this big rock needs to be moved a little bit more towards that side. Maybe also twist it a little bit so it's not too flat on the front, you know? So maybe we just move it a little bit this way. That's a little bit better, I think, but I don't know. Here we go. I think that's the hardscape almost done. I want to add in more substrate, and after I add in more substrate I want to kind of raise all the rocks a little bit. So currently some of them are sitting quite low, especially because of this black band on the bottom. It's kind of just you don't really see everything of the rocks. So yeah, I'm going to add in more substrate and then make the final adjustment to the rocks, and then we should be good. And before I add in the second substrate layer, I want to add in some nutrients. So I'm going to take a few of these root caps. And these are just like little capsules. I'm going to open them up and kind of sprinkle them all over the crushed lava rock. Cover that with more substrate, and then we should have a decent amount of nutrients for the plants. Now for the second substrate layer, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Like normally I would just cover this with a fresh layer of fresh Aquasoil. But lately I've been kind of like taking down a few tanks, rescaping a few tanks. And because of that, I'm kind of left with a bunch of old substrate. Of course I can just throw it away, but I don't know, it seems kind of wasteful. And I kind of want to just reuse it. I mean, it's still good substrate. Of course it will no longer lower the pH or just add a ton of nutrients to the plants, but I think it's still good substrate. So I'm going to cover this with some old Aquasoil. I've kind of rinsed it and just got rid of some of the plant roots and stuff like that. So let's give it a try. If it doesn't work and if we get really terrible plant growth, then I know that next time we don't have to do that anymore. But I think it should work just fine. Here we go, that's all the substrate in. I've actually also kind of like removed the bigger rocks and just put substrate underneath there just so they sit a little bit higher. And I think right now we are at the perfect height, really liking that. Of course there's a little bit of a mud bath right now as well. There's a lot of Aquasoil on the glass and it's just a little bit messy. So I'm thinking to just fill the tank up with water. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, a couple hours have passed, the tank has been filled and drained again. In the meantime I've also installed a filter. I'm going to be using a JBL Crystal Profi 701 I think. It's not a huge filter for this aquarium, but I think it's big enough. I've also added the Aquario Neo Flow, the plastic pipes as an inflow and outflow. Yeah, we can't really use glass lily pipes on this type of aquarium, but the Neo Flow fits perfectly. In the meantime, the mailman also arrived with the plants. I'm just going to prepare the plants and then we can continue. So usually I will get my plants directly from Dental Plants, but sometimes it's just nice to try out something different. So I've ordered a bunch of plants from Aquascape. It's not a sponsor or anything, but yeah, if I want to try some new plants, I always go to this shop. They really have a nice selection. Yeah, so this for example, Hygrophila polysperma tiger. Don't see this anywhere else. This one, Persicaria pakchong. Never heard this before, but looked really nice in the picture. Got a beautiful red lotus. Yeah, just a really nice selection. It's not all for this aquarium, some of this for the aquarium next to it as well, but yeah, let me just prepare them quickly and then we can start planting. Okay, we're going to get started with the foreground. I'm actually going for a nice mixed carpet, so I have 3 different types of carpeting plants. First one going in is the Halantium Tellum Red. So I use this one quite often. It's quite an easy carpeting plant as well. And if you have strong light and CO2 injection, it will turn nice. The leaves will turn nice and red. I think in this particular setup they will just stay green, which is absolutely fine. So the Halantium is done, so I'm now mixing in the Marsilea hirsuta. So we have a mixed carpet with a straight leaf as well as a round leaf. I think this is going to look really good. Well, I actually did a similar combination recently with Halantium Tellum Broadleaf and Marsilea hirsuta. That looked really nice, so yeah, this is going to look almost the same. And both of these carpeting plants are relatively easy, so especially in this setup where we don't have super strong light, I think it's going to work very well. Okay, that's the foreground basically done. Now I have one more carpeting plant, and that is the Dwarf Hairgrass. I'm planning to plant this one in the back, all the way, yeah, basically between the 2 rocks. Okay, starting to look really good already. Next plant going in is the Blixa japonica. This doesn't really look like much right now because it came from an in vitro pot, but it's a really beautiful plant. I'm going to plant it on the left side as well as on the right side over there. Okay, next up we have the Hygrophila polysperma tiger. So this should be an easy plant as well. I'm going to plant it in both the left as well as the right back corner. And I think this one should turn a little bit of a orange reddish color as well, so should be interesting. Okay, next up we have an interesting plant, the Eleocharis Japan needleleaf. So this is going to be a very long grass-like plant. So I'm planning to plant it basically behind the big rock and also a little bit on behind the slightly smaller rock. So we should hopefully like have this bit of an arch. That would be cool. Okay, we're almost done with the planting. As a final step, I'm going to add in a little bit of moss. I have some beautiful patches of Riccardia that I saved from the previous tank that was on this side of the room. So these are absolutely beautiful. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of liquid or gel type super glue to the moss and then just stick them on the rocks, and then we're done. So it's been about a month. Aquarium is looking good. It's ready for fish. It was actually ready for fish maybe last week already, but I was looking for some specific fish. Finally found them. I'm currently in one of my favorite fish shops here in the Netherlands. This is Ocean and Lake. I did a tour of this shop, I don't know, a couple months ago. I'll leave a link on top of the screen somewhere. Really beautiful shop, and they have an amazing fish selection. And I found exactly what I was looking for. So I was looking for something unique, something I've never kept before, something colorful and something with interesting behavior. And I think I found them. Not the epistogram, I'm talking about the guys behind it, the THREADFIN rainbows. These should have some very interesting behavior, and they have really nice, just nice colors, really beautiful long fins. So I think these are a good fit for this Iwagumi style aquascape. So I'm thinking of going for a group of like 8 or 10 of the THREADFIN rainbows, and then I'm contemplating if I should add something else or just leave it at that. I'm gonna have a look around, see if they have something else interesting, and then we'll see what we go home with. Okay, just go back home again. Let me quickly show you guys how the tank is looking right now, and then after that we can start acclimating the new fish. Here we go. This is the current situation after just about a month. Not exactly sure when I planted this tank, what date it was, but I think it's been more or less a month. So as you can see, plant growth has been really good. Actually did not expect it with the stock lights from this OASE StyleLine, but yeah, can't complain. We almost have a full carpet already. The hairgrass in the center there has basically grown in completely. Background plants are doing well. This Hygrophila tiger is actually getting much bigger than I thought. Gonna have to trim that soon. Now we don't really have that arch yet that I was really looking for and hoping for, but yeah, it's just gonna take a little bit longer. The Eleocharis, so that long grass leaf plant that's supposed to make the arch, is just growing a little bit slower than I thought. So it's gonna take a little bit longer, but that's okay. Now we actually do already have a few inhabitants in here. So I recently picked up a few Amana shrimp, as well as some rosy loaches. So I saw these in the shop and thought they looked really cute. Never kept them before, and yeah, I thought let me just grab a few of those. So I bought 5 rosy loaches and 6 Amana shrimp. So we already have a few inhabitants, and now let's start acclimating our THREADFIN rainbows. It has been a few days since I've added the THREADFIN rainbows, and they're doing good. I wasn't sure how many I should buy, but after adding them it seemed like we could do with a few more, so now we have about 15 of them. Since then I've also upgraded to a new camera, and hope you guys can see the difference in quality. It will still take a little while for me to figure out the best settings, but I'm super excited to start making better quality content. was planning to upload this video a week ago, but I decided to wait a bit longer and let the plants grow a bit more. I'm happy I did that because I think it looks much better now. I'm also still thinking if I should add more fish or leave it as is. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.